Hello and welcome, everyone. Michigan basketball is back. We're here waiting to bring you the season opener live from Crisler Center. I'm Vihaan Easwar. This is Jonas Tomkin. Michigan looking to banish the demons of a difficult season last year, which saw them miss out on the Big Ten tournament despite high expectations. They're opening at home against a formidable UNC Asheville Bulldogs team, boasting one of the best players in the Big South last season, Drew Pember. They are the reigning Big South champions. They're a team with expectations of getting back to the tournament. Michigan are a team with expectations of getting back to the tournament. Jonas, what do you have to say so far? What are your thoughts going forward?
One, I'm very excited to be here, of course. First basketball game I'm announcing. Just wanted to say UNC Asheville, 7 of their 9 top scorers from last year are still on the team this year. So they're hopefully going to try and pick up from where they left off last year. They have the same squad, unlike Michigan, who's got a lot of new players and still has some chemistry to build if they want to have a successful season, especially after what was a very disappointing season last season. Would you say, Vihaan?
Yes, absolutely. And you're looking at a very different Michigan team as Jet Howard and Kobe Buffkin both headed off to the NBA. Hunter Dickinson hitting the transfer portal. You're going to see a largely changed up starting lineup here. You're going to see several notable transfers, including Namari Burnett and Trey Jackson, most notably, while you also have Doug McDaniel and Terrence Williams, the second, making their return.
Yeah.
Now, Jonas, what do you think are some realistic expectations for Michigan's season this season? Do you think this Michigan team should aim to return to the tournament and go on a 2022-esque run? Or do you think it's time to be a little more optimistic, maybe be prepared for not as strong results as the Michigan basketball program is used to in recent memory? Maybe just should they adjust their expectations slightly?
I don't think aiming for the March Madness tournament right now is the best idea from where Michigan is standing. After a disappointing season, you just want to start your season strong and prove to other teams around the country that you still are this great basketball program that Michigan has proved to be historically. And I think if you're Michigan, you just want to take it game by game. I mean, UNC Asheville is a very worthy opponent, and I think they're going to have to play hard and work hard if they're going to want to win this game. Right,
and we're just going to bring you the starting lineups now. We have Doug McDaniel, Namari Burnett, Terrence Williams II, Oliver Kamhua, and Terrace Reed Jr. starting for Michigan. And for Asheville, we have Caleb Burgess, Josh Banks, Fletcher Abey, Drew Pember, and Nick McMullen. Pember, in particular, one of the strongest players on the team. He's the reigning Big South Player of the Year last year. He is absolutely a threat, absolutely one to watch out for, and Michigan should very much prepare their game plan to counter him. It's a strong team in general. Last year, they set the program record for wins, going 16-2, and while they went out to UCLA in the tournament, they still have a very successful season. They should be very proud of themselves for their performance last year, and surely they're looking to replicate that. It won't be an easy game, but it will be a good start for Michigan and a good way for them to feel in the season and see what type of opposition they'll be playing and what they should expect from said opposition. As the student section is strong in number, Michigan students are ready for another season of basketball. The players are still on the court with their warm-ups. WCBN, as always, excited to bring you coverage of Michigan sporting events.
Yeah. Hello. So Vihaan Howard is not the coach anymore for Michigan basketball, as we know, but he is currently in the building. And the interim head coach said that he's been using his brain and helping the team a lot in that sort of sense. And hopefully will inspire the players to get him a win tonight, even though he most likely will not be on the sidelines. His presence will be felt by the players and most likely by the fans as they chant right now to the Michigan basketball orchestra.
And we are getting ready for tip-off. We should be with you in just a few seconds as the clock is counting down. The cheerleaders are on. The players are lining up for what appears to be the national anthem, and the players are lining up for the national anthem, and we are excited. I'm sure you are excited. Stay tuned.
Michigan Wolverines.
And we are getting ready.
Their fun for unity and inclusion with a plan to lift every voice and sing.
We'll be right back as we sing our unity song and national anthem. Active duty and veterans may keep their caps on while rendering the military salute. The colors are presented tonight at the University of Michigan Air Force ROTC, and the anthem is performed by the Michigan Basketball Band under the direction of Dr. Richard Fromm. Following the playing of the national anthem, we are back. We are getting ready to bring you coverage of the game. Tip off in just a few short seconds.
As I was saying before, UNC Asheville has 7 of its 9 top scorers from last season, and although that might seem like a bad thing for a team like Michigan, they'll be able. Coach Martelli, the interim head coach, has said that they've been watching a lot of film from UNC Asheville last year, and since there's not too many new players, it's going to be really useful for them today. And we'll see if Michigan picks up on anything that UNC Asheville's doing that they might have done last year, as apparently they've been studying up on film.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the key difference in these two teams is the level of continuity. Michigan bring back a very different team, whereas UNC Asheville are keeping most of their roster from last year. But I would argue that it was the right approach for these two teams. UNC had a very successful season. Michigan did not. And Michigan, I think, Juwan Howard understood that a shakeup is necessary if he wants to protect both his own job prospects and maintain the winning reputation of this program. And to me, I think he's done the right thing by shaking up the squad a little bit. I think the players to watch on this roster are definitely Doug McDaniel and Terrence Reed Jr., as well as Terrence Williams II, who struggled significantly last season and is very much hoping to alleviate that burden. You also have the prospects of Jalen Llewellyn, who remains out injured. There is there's freshman George Washington III. Then there are transfers such as Trey Jackson and Nimari Burnett. It's a very new, it's a very young, it's a very interesting Michigan team, which is why maybe it is smart to adjust the expectations of the team. Don't expect them to go ahead and win the national championship right away. But I think some improvement is a reasonable expectation, and it's very much possible. Juwan is a very talented coach. There are some talented players on this team. This is a program that has consistently developed high levels of talent, and they should absolutely expect to do well. And they have a fantastic opening opponent in UNC Asheville. This should be a great game for us to cover. It should be a great game for all of us fans, for all of these Michigan fans to witness. As the players are getting ready to make their appearance onto the court, just to reiterate, we'll read you the starting lineups again real quick. We have Doug McDaniel, Nimari Burnett, Terrence Williams II, Olivier Namakwa, and Terrence Reed Jr. And for UNC Asheville, we have Caleb Burgess, Josh Banks, Fletcher Abe, Drew Pember, and Nick McMullen. And like we mentioned, the key name to watch out for on UNC Asheville, Drew Pember had a fantastic season last year. Yes, Drew Pember, the key name to watch out for on UNC Asheville. He will be a threat. He will need to be guarded as.
Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see how much playing time George Washington gets. I know they've had a lot of. They see a lot of potential in him, and Coach Martelli talked about trying to get him some minutes and how important getting minutes are. But as the Michigan president, Santa Ono, walks up the stairs in front of us. Yeah, George Washington, we'll see how many minutes he gets. It's really important that the new freshmen do get minutes, as they are the future of this program right now. And hopefully they'll be able to make an impact this season.
Yes, absolutely. You see, we're bringing you the huddle while the hype video is playing. Fans eagerly awaiting the arrival of this team onto the court. This is one of the big three sports for Michigan, alongside football and men's hockey. As the playing of Seven Nation Army signals the beginning of this season. It is a new year for Michigan. You're going to see a new look team, and there will be good times, there will be bad times, but in the end, the team will learn from this experience. They will grow, and I think that's what we're all looking forward to.
Definitely, Vihaan. As the student section is on their feet, they've got some signs. We'll see if there's some ultras here who will be doing some heckling against UNC Asheville. I'm sure the Wolverine players will appreciate that, as they have a tough first game to the season, and tip-off will start shortly if you want to call that off, Vihaan.
Right, and it looks as if our face-off is going to be between, and we will bring you who's facing off. It looks like it's going to be Terrence Reed Jr. versus
Drew Pember.
Terrence Reed Jr. versus Drew Pember. Ball's in the air. We are live, and UNC Asheville gets the ball at first. Caleb Burgess facing off. He's waiting. He's looking for his man. He's going to charge in. He's going to send it into the paint, and UNC are going to look like they have the first points on the board, but it's going to be a foul, and no, that's going to be a offsides.
Looked like a travel call.
That looked like a travel
on McMullen.
As Olivier Namakwa is now sending the ball out. He's going to send it wide. He's going to send it out of bounds, as it's going to be back to UNC's ball. Some early growing pains for both sides as they grow into the season.
Looks like Michigan was caught off guard a little bit from that high press from UNC Asheville. Martelli said that was a part of their game plan, and they're going to be using that off and on.
Absolutely, yes. As Drew Pember sends it back into Nick McMullen. McMullen is going to hand it off to Fletcher Aby. Aby to Pember. Pember to Aby. Aby looking. Aby back to Pember. Pember sends it wide to Banks. Banks driving into the paint. Banks is going to look like he's going to get called for travel again. Is that going to be the second travel call of the game?
I think now it was a foul.
Or no, that was
against Michigan.
That looked like a foul against Michigan. My apologies. And just a reminder, if a player commits 5 fouls, they will be ejected from the game. 5 personal fouls. As we will see who's going to shoot this free throw for UNC. As we have a timeout. There's some deliberation on the sidelines.
Yeah, I'm sure Martelli was not too happy about that inbound from Michigan, as they were caught off guard by the high press from Asheville.
Absolutely, yes.
You never want to just throw away the ball, especially on an inbound after they just,
Yeah, they opened well against a team that you would. They opened the way you would expect a team that's playing as an underdog would expect. They immediately go in, they attack, they understand that there's no time to just sit back and let Michigan have control of the game. They want to block off that attack immediately. They want to get the ball to Pember as soon as they can.
Yeah, if you're UNC Asheville, you don't want to play Michigan's game. You want Michigan to play your game.
As Josh Banks is going to shoot the free throw, that's going to go in. First points of the game for Asheville, and he is going to shoot again as Banks lines up. The student section is going to heckle, but Banks, cool as a cucumber, sinks it in. Asheville up 2 now. As Terrence Reed holding onto the ball, he's going to send it to Doug McDaniel. McDaniel driving into the other half of the court. McDaniel to Terrence Williams, the second. Williams, still Williams. Williams McDaniel. McDaniel to Makwa. He's gonna send it to Barrett. Barrett 6 to 3. Michigan lead 3-2. Back to Burgess. Burgess versus Burnett. Burgess to Aby. Aby in the paint. Aby to McMullen. McMullen into the paint. McMullen looks like he's going to commit. Was that a travel?
Yep, second travel of the game.
Second travel of the game. As you can see, both sides feeling a little jittery. Couple of fouls, couple of travels. As Namakwa sends it to Terrence Reed. Reed to Namakwa.
Michigan had a little bit easier time breaking the press there, but still not looking too comfortable when UNC pushes them.
Namakwa to McDaniel. That's going to be too easy for McDaniel. McDaniel sinks it in. It's going to be 5-2 Michigan. And it's very important to get McDaniel that space. It's very important to just break through that line because when you have a press, you can very easily break into it. You can very easily exploit those gaps. As here comes Burgess. Burgess to Pember. Pember in the paint. Pember to Banks. Banks loses it on the rebound. It's going to Terrence Williams the second. Williams looking for a man. He's found him. He's found Terrence Reed, the big man. As looks like we're gonna have a foul called against UNC Asheville. Michigan's first. Michigan going to shoot their first free throws of the game. Looks like our free throw taker is Doug McDaniel. Our correction, there's not going to be a free throw there. Yeah, looks like it's a personal. My mistake. That was not a foul. That was, in fact, went out of bounds, and now a foul has been called on Doug McDaniel. Drew Pember is going to shoot it back in for UNC. Pember to Burgess. Burgess to Pember. Pember is not going to be able to get a shot off in time. Right now, Michigan's defense is very close to the hoop. It's quite physical, which is why you see another foul. That one's going to be on Mkoa. That's to the family of Mkoa. Our apologies if we're mispronouncing his name.
UNC's Asheville has really been trying to get the ball into the paint so far and draw fouls. try and get some of these Michigan players subbed out of the game.
As Pember's going to sink his first free throw. He's not going to sink his second free throw as McDaniel is back on. Michigan driving back in. McDaniel. Still McDaniel. McDaniel really being made to look for his man. As looks like we're going to have a travel called.
Looks like it was an off-ball foul on number 13 from UNC Asheville, McMullen. But already the 5th foul so far for both teams and less than 3 minutes played.
Absolutely, yes. McDaniel, Burnett. That's going to be a blatant foul on Asheville. Looks like we're going to get Michigan's first free throw opportunity of the game. It was on Caleb Burgess, number 2. Very blatant foul there. Pretty open and shut shove inside the paint, as we're going to see who is going to take these free throws for Michigan. Now that was an area that they struggled with last year. Let's see if it's improved. No, that will not be a free throw, as Burnett sends it to McDaniel. McDaniel sends it out to Nkua. He's going to try and shoot for the free, but he's not going to get it, as looks as though as Terrence Williams II has now accumulated a personal foul, as Drew Pember gets ready to send it back in bounds for Asheville. Lots of fouls, very jittery here from both sides. Little sloppy, little undisciplined here. Pember to Burgess. Burgess to Aby. Aby to Johnson. As the ball is going to roll out of bounds, they're going to lose control. This student section is going to prove it's going to be Michigan's basketball.
Yes, both teams still struggling to get into the flow of the game as that ball bounces off the UNC Asheville player's foot, and it's going to be a turnover as Michigan brings the ball up.
Yes, McDaniel to Nkua. Nkua to Williams. Williams to McDaniel. McDaniel's going to send it into Reed. Reed to Williams. Williams is going to shoot the 3. Williams makes the 3. It is 8-3 Michigan. Oh, no, that was Terrence Reed Jr. As Burgess has had quite a lot. Burgess has quite a bit of time on the ball. So far, he's mostly played a facilitatory role, but now he's driving into the paint. He was going to look at he's trying to send it to McMullen, but it's going to be a rebound for Michigan. Burnett is on it. Burnett to Mkoa. McDaniel tries to shoot the 3. Doesn't make it, but Mkoa is there on the rebound. Adds the score. It's 10-3 Michigan.
Not sure if he meant to do that, but that was a really nice play from Michigan forward.
Drew Pember is going to shoot. He's going to make his first 3. That's the first points on the board for Pember. Sorry. That's actually his second, third, and fourth point on the board. His first came off a free throw as Burnett looking. Burnett to McDaniel. McDaniel shoots from outside the arc. McDaniel makes it. That's his first 3 of the game. 13-6 Michigan. Now, Caleb Burgess. Burgess to Johnson. Johnson waiting. Johnson's waiting. Is he waiting for Pember? No, he's going to try and shoot it himself. It's not going to make it. It's going to Williams. Williams recovering the ball. Williams to Mkoa. Mkoa drives into the arch, manages to win a foul as Asheville commit yet another mistake in a rather sloppy mistake-filled first few minutes of the game, as we have our first timeout called by UNC. Jonas, what do you take? What's your take so far? We've mentioned a couple of times the sloppiness of the game as things stand. Do you have anything else to add?
Not too much. I think Michigan has definitely been able to get a little bit more into the flow of things. They've got 3 threes already, which you love to see. You love to see the aggressiveness from the behind the arc. It seems like they're confident with their jump shots, all players across the floor, and you always want to see that. I think UNC Asheville is just going to have to be a little more careful with the ball. Already a few turnovers, and it's just not a sustainable way to play. But I think both teams haven't done anything spectacular yet, and they're both are in it completely.
And there was some buzz in the offseason about Terrence Williams II's revamped jumper. We saw that right there. We saw our first glimpse of that as we saw him shoot a beautiful free throw, a beautiful three-pointer from outside the arc. As let's hope that there's going to be more of that for the Wolverines this season. As you said, there's not a lot to like about these first 5 minutes, but Michigan seemed to be shooting well from outside the arc. They seem to be playing physical yet effective defense so far. It remains
And already 8 fouls with just under 5 minutes played. So both teams are being aggressive, but lacking a little bit of composure, I would say, when going up and down the court and trying to rush things a little bit. And I think hopefully both of these teams get into the flow of this and we start seeing fewer turnovers and just some better ball movement, I would say.
Yes, absolutely. Outside of Caleb Burgess, who has been quite solid on the ball, UNC have really struggled in that department, and they don't seem to be plugging in those spaces. There isn't a lot of communication there. It seems as though they're a little nervous, possibly, as one might imagine. It's their first game of the season, whereas Michigan definitely seem to be playing with vigor. They seem to be playing with a lot of confidence. While that has yielded sloppiness as well, it has yielded 13 points and some very solid three-pointers. Let's hope that this strong percentage will continue, as it looks as though we're coming out of our media timeout. Michigan back on the court, and we will let you know if there's any substitutions to make note of. Doesn't look like there is.
Looks like Michigan's going to stay with the same squad.
Yes, Michigan's rolling the same.
And looks like UNC Asheville as well, except for that one sub that they made earlier. Or looks like number one,
Jamin Battle.
Yeah, Jamon Battle.
Jamon Battle. He is a veteran. He's a veteran on the team. Has been there for several years. Very well trusted by Mike Morrell. As McDaniel waits. McDaniel to Burnett. Burnett. Risking a travel. Burnett drives into the paint. Burnett shoots. Burnett scores. 15-6 Michigan.
Great aggressive move there from Burnett, going strong to the basket. And he went with the contact and still got a nice 2-point layup for the Wolverines.
Caleb Burgess. Burgess is going to take matters into his own hands. He's going to get dispossessed, but he's going to put it up to Solomon. Solomon doesn't make it either, as Michigan's hoop defense looks incredibly strong so far, as McDaniel waiting to play his role as the facilitator, waiting to find someone to send it to. He's found Mkoa. Going to shoot from outside the arc. He's not going to make it. Looked to be UNC's ball, but it goes out of bounds. Or
looked like it was a foul on Burnett, pushing foul.
Yeah, looked like a pushing foul on Burnett. But at the same time, it looked like there was room for out of bounds. Just a little bit of confusion there.
Taking it for your Wolverines, number 2, Trey Jackson.
As Trey Jackson is making his debut for Michigan, I believe. He is a transfer. He is on the court. Very interested to see what he'll do, as they're going to drive into the paint. It is going to be Johnson scores for Asheville, as Michigan quickly on the recovery. You like that in this team. They're very fiery. They're very hungry. They're very aggressive. As McDaniel sends it to Mkoa losing the ball. Out of bounds, Michigan. Or no, that was UNC got the ball to it. It's out of bounds, UNC. It's going to be back to Michigan. As Burnett to Trey Jackson. Jackson to McDaniel to Williams. Still Williams. Williams sends it to Williams is going to send it to Mkoa. He's going to try and shoot for the three. He's going to brick it. It goes to Drew Penber. Penber in the paint. Penber going to make it in, but it's an offensive foul, and it's going to be Michigan's basketball. Second personal of the day for Drew Penber. 5th total foul for UNC. Currently, both teams are tied at 5 fouls apiece. Michigan from the back. McDaniel. McDaniel to Mkoa. Mkoa to Burnett. Burnett to Jackson. Jackson to McDaniel. Daniel looked as though there was an offensive foul there. Or first personal foul of the day for Trey Jackson. His first personal foul in a Michigan shirt.
Must have been a moving screen because I did not see much there, but looks like none of the Wolverines had a problem with it, so good call from the referee.
As Johnson to McMullen. McMullen shoots, and Asheville's woes at shooting close range are going to continue. Michigan on the rebound. Doug McDaniel. McDaniel still going. McDaniel to Mkoa. Mkoa shoots. Mkoa scores. 17-10 Michigan. Beautiful piece of movement from McDaniel to win the 2 points for Michigan. As Johnson drives in. Johnson's going to score. 17-12. Michigan again. Michigan going to score. That's going to be the first points on the board for Trey Jackson of his Michigan career.
Yeah, good job from Michigan there, pushing the ball. Right after that missed shot, they just threw the ball down the court, and a nice little Euro step from Trey Jackson to get his first 2 points for the Wolverines.
Quick exchange of scoring. Some of the best basketball of this half that we've seen so far, as Nick McMullen's now on the ball. McMullen shoots, and that was going to hang on the outside of the rim, and it's going to go in. 19-14. Michigan, again, McDaniel. Still McDaniel. McDaniel, Burnett. Burnett to McDaniel. McDaniel to Mkoa. Mkoa is going to send it out wide to Will Shetter, who's now on the court. Will Shetter still holding on to the ball. Will Shetter gets his points on the board. He's going to use his strength in quite an intelligent way. He's going to muscle past a couple of men. He's going to get the points in the hoop. 21-14. As looks like we're going to have.
Sorry, Vihaan.
Looks as though we're going to have a timeout as it is 21-14. Jonas, going into our second time out of the game, little improvement in the quality of play.
Yeah.
A bit of a smoother sequence.
Definitely. I think both teams are playing their best when they're moving the ball quickly and they're pushing the ball up the court. We've seen, like you said, a lot of quick exchanges of possession, quick exchanges of scoring. That last one, Banks rushed down the court immediately after Michigan scored and drew the foul. And I think pushing the ball has worked, especially for Michigan, in these first 9 minutes. And I think they need to keep doing that, keep pushing the ball. You don't want it. I saw Terrence Williams pick up his dribble once, and you just never want to see that. You just always want to keep the ball moving, always want to be moving. But, yeah, good job pushing the ball up the court, moving quickly, and I think if they continue that, it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, I especially like what I saw from Will Shetter in his few minutes of court. Great use of his size. He's one of the bigger players on the team, one of the bigger players on the court. And he just uses that to just out-muscle his opponents, managed to get in there and managed to get those points. And I think having those big men really helps, especially in games that can get very physical, especially when you have two younger, more sloppy teams. And in that regard, having players like Terrence Reed Jr., like Shetter, that helps. Like Hunter Dickinson did last year and in years past.
Definitely. And UNC Asheville, Drew Pember is supposedly 6'11". He doesn't look that tall on the court, I will say. But hopefully he'll be able to compete with Will Cheddar and his size down in the paint. But Will Cheddar really did, like you said, make a great move. And he does have some really good footwork, which I noticed. Knows how to use his feet. Great pump fake, which allowed him to get a nice little scoop layup. And, yeah, been a great game so far. 12 fouls 12 fouls in less than 9 minutes. Shows you the aggressiveness that both teams are playing with. The Maze Rage might have something to do with that. The University of Michigan student section, all on their feet. It's the first game of the season, so pretty much every student seat is filled up tonight, and they're really into the game. Probably have helped Michigan a little bit, although Michigan could be playing a little less sloppy and could be a little more efficient with the ball. But like I said before, good first aggressive 9 minutes, and maybe some fewer fouls, and this game will have a little bit more flow. But you know,
right. And Michigan actually has 7 fouls. Asheville with 5. That is definitely something that Michigan wants to watch out for. As looks like we're heading back with the free throw. There was a Michigan personal foul just at the end of the period. As our shooter is going to be Josh Banks. Banks, I believe, is a transfer. He is one of the few newcomers to the UNC program this year. As the Maze Rage is making some noise. That's not going to affect Banks. He sinks his first. Banks still not affected by the crowd. He sinks his second. Score is now 21-16. As Will Shetter to McDaniel. McDaniel, the focal point of all attacks. The start for Michigan. McDaniel to Shetter. Shetter to McMullen. McMullen to McDaniel. McDaniel attempts a 3. McDaniel sinks the 3. 24-16 Michigan.
Second 3 of the day for McDaniel. He's played really great so far, the Wolverine point guard. And also to say, UNC Asheville, since that first possession where their press worked really well, Michigan has had no problem dealing with it ever since. As
Fletcher Abbey is going to have a 3-point attempt of his own. This one isn't successful, as Asheville's shooting has just been much less successful than Michigan's has. As Will Shetter to Mkoa to Doug McDaniel. McDaniel to Shetter. Shetter to Mkoa. Mkoa driving into the paint. Mkoa is going to miss his first shot. He's going to sink it in on the second attempt. 26-16 Michigan. Halfway through the first. About exactly halfway through the first. As Drew Pember driving into the paint. Pember loses the ball. It's going to head to Trey Jackson. Jackson. As Jackson's going to win a foul. Or as looks like that's going to be a personal foul on Drew Pember. Yes, personal foul on Drew Pember. 6th for Asheville.
Yeah, that's going to force Pember out of the game. And Asheville's playing with a pretty small lineup right now on the court. Pember, being their tallest player, just came off. And we'll see if Michigan takes advantage of their size here.
As McDaniel to George Washington the third. The third misses it. Jackson tries to take the shot. Jackson's going to get blocked by Solomon. As Michigan. Jackson. George Washington. Washington loses the ball as it's recovered by McMullen, but not quite sure what he was trying to do there. It looked as if he was trying for a long assist, but there was no one on the other end of the court. And I think that's just an example of some of the sloppiness that you've seen on Asheville's end. There's just not been the same sense of cohesion, the same sense of filling in those spaces the way there has for Michigan.
Yeah, he was telling Burgess after he threw that I think he thought the ref was one of their players, but Burgess was not too happy about it.
As McDaniel drives down, McDaniel scores 28-16.
That's going to be his 10th point of the game, first player in double figures. He's definitely been the hot hand so far, and hopefully they keep giving him the ball.
Burgess to McMullen. McMullen in the paint. McMullen's going to miss. McDaniel on the rebound. McDaniel in the paint, driving out to Williams. Williams shoots. Williams scores. Williams' second third of the game. 31-16 Michigan. How about that jumper shot, huh?
Yeah, 2 for
Said he was going to revamp that jumper shot. What does he do? He goes and revamps that jumper shot.
Well, he's 2 for 2 so far, Vihaan. So I wouldn't get too excited so far. We still got a long season ahead of us, but definitely showing some promise there. Great shot from T. Will. A little bit contested, but no problem for him. McDaniel with the assist, and yeah, it's gonna force UNC to take a quick timeout to gather their thoughts, as they've been in this game, but now Michigan's got a 15-point lead and could run away with this game, which UNC definitely doesn't want, and they feel that they should still be in this game for sure.
Right, and obviously we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves with Williams' performance, but he did struggle significantly last year, so it is good to see him come back into this game. Clearly with confidence, clearly off to a good start in the game. Still quite a bit of basketball left to play, but he has his contribution. He has his 6 points on the board as Michigan building a strong 15-point lead.
Yeah, 10-0 run for Michigan over the past 1 minute and 54 seconds, and UNC Asheville has failed to score in the past 2 minutes. So probably smart timeout from UNC Asheville there as they get the ball and try and end this short scoring drought.
Caleb Burgess. Burgess in the paint. Burgess is going to try and shoot. It's going to get blocked. He's going to recover the ball, but a few meters back from where he was. He's going to send it out to Solomon. Solomon is going to try and shoot from outside the arc, but he's not going to get it in time. As McDaniel attempts the three. McDaniel doesn't manage to sink it. Johnson on the rebound. Johnson from outside the arc. Johnson's going to end up drawing a foul, as that is going to be on George Washington III. First personal foul of the game for the freshman.
At the line is shooting 3 for the Bulldogs, number 12, Evan Johnson.
It's going to be the 8th foul on the Wolverines this half. Martelli not looking too happy about that on the sidelines.
As Johnson sinks his first. Will Johnson take the second? It looks like he will.
And that's going to end UNC Asheville's scoring drought. But they still are 0 for 4 in their last 0 for their last 4 field goals, so they're definitely going to have to pick it up from the floor.
Johnson's going to sink a second. And Johnson with the hat trick of free throws. 31-19. Jackson to McDaniel. McDaniel to Shetter. Shetter from outside the arc. Shetter's going to sink it. 34-19. First 3 of the game for Will Shetter. He has made an immediate impact since coming on.
Nice little fake move, pump fake from Will Shetter to send the Asheville player away from him, and then sinks the 3. Love to see it.
As Asheville are going to get the ball back. Caleb Burgess is going to try and shoot from inside the arc, but it compounds their struggles as Williams is going to attempt a third. That is not going to make it in, as Asheville on the rebound. It is Johnson.
Little heat check from T. Will. You like to see the confidence, but you definitely don't want him taking that shot every possession.
Johnson to Solomon, but that play is not going to result in anything for Asheville, as it looks like we're going to get another timeout. As the Michigan cheerleading team comes back on. 34-19, as Asheville did break their scoring drought, but it was only the result of a rather careless personal foul by George Washington III.
Yeah, Asheville 0 for their last 5 field goals. Really struggling. They're definitely going to need to talk it over during this timeout, as they were playing toe-to-toe with Michigan for the first 10 minutes or so. But Michigan has run off with it a little bit here. Some great shooting from beyond the arc. Some just great play from McDaniel overall, and Shetter, who has made a huge impact from coming in the game. Not just his shooting, he's got 5 points, the 3 and the layup, but he's been directing players on the court, and you definitely just notice his presence when you're watching the game.
Yes, Shetter immediately. Like we said, Drew Pember is one of the only really big players on Asheville's lineup. It's generally a fairly small team, it's generally a fairly small team, and Shetter's size really makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, no, definitely. But, as you saw, he just hit a nice 3. Great pump fake there. He's definitely a very versatile player, is able to use his size, but also very technically skilled, and obviously, wants to make an off-the-ball impact as well when he's on the floor, and is not a selfish player at all from the little bit we've seen so far. And George Washington III, he's gotten his first few minutes. Have you seen anything special, Vihaan? He did miss the one shot he took. He hasn't been able to get involved too much, but you like to see him getting minutes, right?
Right. And he's been a little reckless, but at least he's come on. He's taking his opportunities, much like his namesake, who back in the 1770s showed great aggression in crossing the Delaware River. Washington III has immediately come on and shown some initiative. I'm sure that given minutes, he will turn out to be a key part of this Michigan team this campaign.
Yeah, you definitely hope so if you're the Wolverines and their fans. But so far, nothing too crazy yet. And looks like he's going to he's going to stay on the floor after this timeout. He's getting a little pep talk from Coach right now. And, yeah, looks like Solomon's going to be shooting 2 free throws.
At the line, shooting the 1-1 for the Bulldogs, 14-20,
As Solomon not going to be able to sink his throw. It's going to fall to Mkoa, and Koa sending it to McDaniel. Looks as if the Maid's Rage got to Solomon there, as McDaniel sends it to Williams. Williams to McDaniel. McDaniel. Still McDaniel. McDaniel to Williams. Williams turns around in the paint. Williams sinks it. 36-19. He is now 8 points on the game.
Yeah, Burgess tried to draw a charge there from Terrence Williams, but a nice spin move.
Exactly, yes. Just sort of avoided making that contact as Asheville on the counter. Burgess sends it out. To Burgess is going to score. It is 36-21. Asheville. McDaniel. Washington the third. Washington still struggling to score, but Terrace Reed picks it up for him. Reed scores. It's 38-21. 17-point lead open for Michigan now. Fantastic first half.
Definitely, and not the best take for Washington there, but you do like to see the aggressiveness. He's not afraid to go up. He did go up strong, but some good defense there from Asheville.
As Burgess is going to send it out to Solomon. Solomon is going to dunk that in, or just not going to dunk that in. He's going to sink it in for 2 points. 38-23.
Very tame alley-oop there from Solomon. Just placed it in. Didn't want to dunk it.
McDaniel to Williams. Williams to Mkoa. Mkoa in the paint. Mkoa is going to. Looks like he's going to draw a foul there from number 14, Solomon. Michigan back on the free throw line for the first time in what seems like quite some time.
Yeah, and that foul is going to put Michigan in the bonus as well as Asheville, as there has been 16 fouls in this first half so far. 9 from Michigan, 7 from the Bulldogs.
As Mkoa gets ready, the student section gets ready. Mkoa, ice cold, nails his first. 39-23.
Looks like, do you think they're going to keep McDaniel in for the whole half? way
Possibly.
he's been playing.
Mkoa sinks a second, 40-23. Yes, I definitely think it would be ideal. He has been the best player on the court so far. As for...
Yeah, if you're Michigan, you got to finish this half off strong. You got a nice 17-point lead, and you don't want to give too much of that up.
Burgess to AB to Banks to McMullen to Burgess. Burgess in the paint. Burgess gonna be blocked, but it looks as though there's gonna be a foul called there. Asheville again at the free throw line, as Michigan have shown great recklessness inside the arc. While they are in a significant lead, that is yet another personal foul for Michigan. Definitely something to avoid.
Yeah,
as that's going to be on Washington III.
Looked like a pretty decent block, but
yeah, that looked tame. But
referees thought that there was a little too much contact there.
Burgess is going to brick his first free throw, but he's going to get another chance. As number 24, Yusuf Kayat, making his first appearance on the court tonight. Burgess. Burgess is going to sink the second, as it is now 40-24. McDaniel. McDaniel to Mkoa. Mkoa to Kayat. Kayat to McDaniel, as a foul is going to be called.
Looks like it's going to be a moving screen against Terrence Reed. But some good ball movement there from Michigan as Will Cheddar checks back into the game. And we all know what he's capable of. So we'll see if he has a similar impact to when he was first subbed in earlier in the half, as we come up on 5 minutes to go in this first
Burgess.
half.
Burgess is Asheville are going to stack the inside and outside of the arc. Burgess inside the arc. Burgess sends it to McMullen. McMullen is going to draw a charge foul, as that is going to be the 8th foul of the game for Asheville. Personal foul on McMullen.
Yeah, and it was Will Cheddar who drew it. Not too surprising, considering his versatility. You know, makes sense. He's got the ability to take a charge in his arsenal. It's always a helpful skill for any basketball player, especially collegiate, high school.
McDaniel.
Always good to see.
McDaniel inside the arc. McDaniel shoots. McDaniel sinks it. 42-24 Michigan. 12 points on the board for Doug McDaniel.
Yeah, great first half for Doug McDaniel. 5 for 7 from the field. 2 of those being threes.
Burgess is going to attempt the free throw, but he's going to lose the rebound. Shutter picks it up, sends it to McDaniel, who sends it to Williams. Williams shoots. Williams gets on the board. He's now at double-digit points. 44-24. Biggest lead of the game so far for Michigan.
Nice little no-look pass there from Doug McDaniel. He's obviously feeling good. And Michigan has definitely gone into the flow of this game. UNC Asheville not so much, as we can see by their 20-point deficit.
Burgess to battle. To AB. AB in the arc. AB shoots. AB's going to recover. AB tries to send it into Solomon, but he loses out as Kayat. Kayat driving in now. Kayat is going to lose out the shot, but Shedder's able to keep it in bounds, but you're going to see a bit of a collision there as Asheville recover. It's Fletcher AB.
A lot of bodies flying around there.
AB, Shedder really going for it there, but AB is going to be able to get the pass off in time to Josh Banks. Banks is going to shoot. Banks is going to sink the three from the outside. 44-27.
Yeah, that's going to be Banks' first made field goal. He was 4 for 4 from the free throw line, but that's his first from the floor.
McDaniel. Shedder. McDaniel. Mkoa in the paint. Mkoa shoots. Mkoa scores. 46-27.
Michigan is 4 for their last 4 field goals, so they're really trying to finish this half off strong. And Asheville's going to have to step it up if they're going to want to keep this game in
Gorgeous
close.
to Banks. Banks in the paint. Banks unable to get off the shot. It's Kayat. It's McDaniel. McDaniel sends it into Nkoa. Nkoa dunks. 48-27 Michigan. First slam dunk of the game. Olivier Nkoa making a massive impact.
Yeah, McDaniel threw that from about mid-court, and it's really, really got this crowd, especially the Maze Rage, really excited. Great play there. Great link up there from McDaniel and Nkoa. Oh, my God, you love to see it. Nkoa barely got to that, but was able to slam it in. Great alley-oop there.
And beautiful pass from McDaniel. That was fantastic. Perfectly timed for Nkoa, who uses his acceleration, uses agility to get there just in time, slams it in. As Michigan open a 21-point lead, their largest of the game so far.
Yeah, I mean, Doug McDaniel, again, has had a great first half. Along with his 12 points, he's had 6 assists already, and has just done a great job of spreading the wealth and making his teammates play better, as we see with that perfect pass from midcourt. Huge looping ball. And, yeah, Doug McDaniel is probably going to be finishing off the half, and we'll probably be getting a lot of minutes in the second half as well. We'll see how that affects how much George Washington III is able to play and how many minutes they'll be able to get in for him.
Yes. And if there's one area of improvement for Michigan, I would say I would like to see a little less recklessness from George Washington III. He's accumulated a couple of fouls so far. That's 3 personal fouls in just 6 minutes. The most personal fouls out of anyone on the team so far. Yes, he's a freshman. He will likely improve on it. But at the same time, you would like to see just a little more from him so far on the court.
I definitely would agree. But if you're UNC Asheville right now, what do you have to do to get back in this game, Vihaan?
Well, I think definitely need more of Drew Penber. He was largely contained in the first half, accumulated a lot of fouls, played quite recklessly. Not at all what you wanted to see if you're a fan of UNC Asheville.
Yeah, definitely not. And they've got 2 minutes 8 seconds to go in this first half. And we'll see if UNC Asheville can climb back a tiny bit in these last 2 minutes, or if Michigan is just going to run away with this even more, which seems like that's what's going to happen. But we shall see. It's 48-27 for the Wolverines. Got 2 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the half. Both teams are currently in the bonus, and it's going to be UNC Asheville's ball as we come out of this timeout, and it's going to be number 3 Banks to inbound it for UNC Asheville.
Yes, as a 21-point deficit going into the second half is absolutely demoralizing for Asheville. There's a lot of basketball to play, but they can't be feeling good at the moment. As Johnson to Banks. Banks attempts the three-pointer. It goes nowhere. McDaniel.
Asheville wanted to get that quick three-pointer, but weren't able to.
McDaniel to Williams. Back to McDaniel. Still McDaniels. McDaniel turns. As looks as though there's going to be a foul in there. Personal foul on Doug McDaniel, which is only his second of the game. As the crowd does not love that.
Check it in for your Wolverines number 4, Noelle Bencie.
Solomon to Johnson. Johnson to Banks. To Johnson. Back to Banks. To Johnson. To Solomon. To Johnson. Johnson with the 3. 48-30. Asheville.
Big
Burnett.
three-pointer there for Asheville.
Shetter. Jackson. Burnett. As Burnett is going to try and force it to Reed. It's blocked by Solomon. Williams. Burnett. Burnett into the paint. Burnett gonna try and shoot. He's not gonna make it in time. It's Solomon to Johnson. To Banks. Banks into the arc. Sends it back out to Battle. Blocked by Jackson. Blocked by Michigan again. Stolen by Jackson. Jackson to Burnett. Burnett trips up a bit. Not able to get the shot off in time. Rebounded Johnson. Michigan's defense looking a little open on there. Johnson. Johnson, as time runs out, we've got 17 seconds on the clock now, 16. Johnson looking for someone, or is Johnson going to try and shoot this one himself? In case this will have to make a decision quickly. Johnson drives into the arc. Johnson shoots. Johnson's able to get the score off as it's 48-32. 4 seconds left. Michigan calls a timeout.
Yeah, it looks like Michigan's going to try and get a last-minute bucket with these 4 seconds to go. UNC Asheville was holding for the last shot. And a good job there from Banks to hit that mid-range.
And smart on Johnson to hold on to the ball as much as he could, create as much time, open as much space as he possibly could.
Definitely. I think it was definitely coach's doing, but good execution on Banks' part. And if you're UNC Asheville, you do not want Michigan's scoring again in this first half if you want a chance of getting back in this game.
As Shetter, Burnett, Jackson shoots. Jackson is not going to be able to get it off in time. 48-32, and that is the end of the first half of Michigan basketball. As we are going to stay with you for just a few minutes longer before Noelle Bencie and Jake Handler take over for the second half. But before we do that, we're going to give you some halftime thoughts. Jonas, what were your thoughts on that first half?
I think
quite a bit to discuss.
Yeah, Michigan started off slow. Both teams started off slow, actually. UNC Asheville never really was able to get into the flow of the game like Michigan was. Again, Michigan was shooting great from behind the arc. Got a lot of their points. Great first half from Doug McDaniel, their point guard, who played all 20 minutes. Able to get 6 assists and excuse me, and 12 points, 3 from behind the arc. Yeah, but 16-point lead for the Wolverines here going into the second half. And I think they're going to be pretty happy with their performance, and UNC Asheville has not been able to hit their shots. That's kind of been the main issue, that and being clumsy with the ball. But yeah, what did you think of the first half, Vihaan?
Well, I think there was a lot to like from Michigan. Pretty much every member of the team was able to get their shots off. They were very aggressive. They were very confident. I especially liked the drives into the paint and the many shots that were taken from the outside. If there was one thing I would like to curb on, and this has been touched upon multiple times, I definitely think the team was a little reckless for my liking. There was a little too many fouls than I thought was necessary. This kind of goes for both teams, but Michigan especially inside the paint. There was a lot of free throws for Asheville that I thought were given up unnecessarily.
Definitely. Asheville spent a lot of time at the free throw line, and that's part of the reason why they are in this game to a certain extent. Only a 16-point deficit, especially with the three-pointer. It's easy to cut that lead down quickly. So Michigan's going to have to continue playing well and continue to push the ball up the court, play quickly, and yeah, I think it's been a great game so far, and hopefully we see a little bit less fouling in the second half as it was a little over aggressive, but yeah. 48.
Right, yes. 48-32, 16-point lead for Michigan. Stars so far, Doug McDaniel, as expected, probably the strongest player on the team, but also Terrence Williams II, who seems to have improved significantly from last season. Double-digit points in the first half alone, including shooting 2 for 3 from outside the arc.
Yeah, you love to see that from T. Will, who struggled from beyond the arc last year, and that was a huge criticism of him. And looks like so far he has worked on it a lot. And as this first half comes to a close, you got anything else you need to say, Vihaan? Anything else you want to comment on that first half?
Not particularly. I think it was very solid, very strong basketball from Michigan. A lot of aggression, but at the same time, accuracy, efficiency. They were finding in those spaces. They were driving in. They were making the right moves. Of course, they were shooting well from outside the arc. It was just a strong performance. I have nothing really negative to say, except maybe tone down on the fouls a little bit. As I mentioned earlier, Washington III was a little disappointing in his few minutes, but it is his very first game. I wouldn't hold it against him just yet.
Definitely excited to be out on the floor. But I think that's going to close it for this first half. It's going to be 48 for the Wolverines, 32 for the Asheville Bulldogs, as we're going to take a quick break, and we'll see you with a couple minutes to go before the second half begins. And
I've been Vihaan Easwar. This has been Jonas Tomkin. We were delighted to bring you coverage of this first half. After a 5-minute break, we will have Jake Handler and Noelle Bencie back on the call.
Hello and welcome back to WCBN Sports. My name is Noelle Bencie. Alongside me, I have Jake Handler bringing to you live coverage of your Michigan Wolverines versus the UNC Asheville Bulldogs. The score right now is 48-32, with our Michigan Wolverines leading in the middle of the half. Jake, what are your thoughts on tonight's game? What have you seen that Michigan has done well? Asheville coming in from North Carolina. What do you think is the prognosis of this game?
I mean, it's a tremendous offensive performance from Michigan. 48 in a college first half is amazing for any team. The problem is UNC Asheville is really a one-man team. They have Drew Pember, their star player. He averaged over 20 points last year, 40% shooting from three, and he only played about 5 minutes in that first half. He got 3 fouls right away, so the refs are calling it tight. Advantage Michigan. They're up 16.
You know, it's a really exciting time to come out tonight. It's the first, I want to say, opening. We had the We had the exhibition game last Friday, which was, I wouldn't say a blowout. It was, I want to say 72 to 45 or 77 to 45 on Parents Weekend here in Ann Arbor. So coming out today for the season opener is definitely exciting for, I want to say, everyone here in Ann Arbor. So.
Oh, yeah, it's for sure. It's high energy in the building. Selfishly, since we're on the second half of the radio, I kind of hoped it'd be a little bit tighter at halftime, but, you know, the good guys are winning. Michigan's up big. We can't complain.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot. I was kind of concerned coming out and watching Terrace Reed. You know, he was questionable coming into this game. He had a groin injury, supposedly, but he ended up coming out and starting, scoring or having, I want to say, 5 rebounds and about 5 to 6 points already. So we're going to see how he continues. He was pulled out in the middle of the second quarter for a little bit of time. We haven't seen him since in the second. But we're going to see a lot more, I want to say, of Doug McDaniel, who scored 10 points already in the first quarter. So what do you think Michigan's defense has to do in order to keep this deficit? Or do you think UNC Asheville is going to close it, as you were saying?
Yeah. I mean, the key here is, you know, as I said before, is Drew Pember on UNC Asheville, their star player. I think they're going to keep attacking him. He's going to come in the game, I assume, to start the second half, because you don't want the game to get too out of hand and be over a couple minutes in the half. But they're going to attack him, and I think if he's out, the rest just falls into place there. They have no other really star power on offense. They do have Banks, who has 7 points. That's their leader, but he's 1 for 4. Really, the defense has done a great job here for Michigan.
Yeah, like you were saying, number 12 Johnson on UNC Asheville's team. He's the leading scorer right now, I want to say, with 12 points. And I want to say for a team that is supposedly higher in the rankings now, that's not really the best that we've seen from Michigan's opponents. We were coming out today supposedly having one of the better games of Michigan's season, but it's really interesting to see how we have so many transfers on our team and the way that they're going to play together against UNC Asheville.
For sure. I know starting we have Namari Burnett. He came from Alabama, and we have Oliver Nakamura from Tennessee, and he's our leading scorer right now. 5 for 9 shooting, 12 points. We needed him when Dickinson left. It left a big hole in the front court for Michigan, so hopefully Oliver can take over that role. Probably won't be as dominant or as good as Dickinson, but hopefully if he can get 2/3 or 75% of that, we're looking good for the year.
Yeah, we see actually Oliver Kamua and Pember on UNC Asheville's team. They actually played together at Tennessee last year. So,
well, yeah, Pember for sure. He was on UNC Asheville last year, but for his first 2 years, they were teammates. And that's part of the reason he transferred. So Pember should thank Oliver because he didn't get any playing time. He goes to Asheville, a big downgrade from Tennessee, and he starts every game. He gets a lot of minutes. And again, he's a 20-point-plus per game scorer. So,
but as a collegiate basketball player, wouldn't you want to get more playing time regardless of your status, the university that you're at, or what's your perspective on that?
Well, I mean, these guys are players. I'm not a player like that. They have the desire to compete. Pember being at Tennessee first or Oliver as well, to even get to that point, they're the stars on their high school, their AAU team. So they really want to be out there, and they believe that they are one of the best on the court regardless of the situation. So, well, yeah, you want to be at a major school like Tennessee. I can see where, you say, you know what, let me take a step back. I want to be the star. I don't want to be the last guy on the bench. No,
I totally understand that, especially what we want to say. The same could kind of be said for Kamua, who came from Tennessee. Michigan isn't the best team on the schedule right now. I mean, we're coming off of a lousy season last year with a couple transfers coming in. So the same could be said for him coming from Tennessee also. It's he's coming here and he's scoring 12 points already. So in the first half of this game, which has been a wonderful competition to start.
Yeah, I mean, thank God he did choose Michigan. I wouldn't, you're a little too harsh. I wouldn't say it's that big of a downgrade from Tennessee. We did have a little down year last year, only 18 wins, I believe, NIT. But listen, it was the worst year in a while, okay? We made the Sweet 16 the 5 years before then. It's a little blip. Hopefully that's all it is. Hopefully we can rebound this year, and tonight's the start of what should be, or what we hope is a good season in the NCAA tournament berth.
Yeah, with the new transfer portal, it definitely makes it a little bit easier for players to go between teams, kind of have these guys come in and rebuild the team a little bit more than what we were used to when they would have to sit out a season of eligibility. So we're definitely, I think in the next couple of years we're going to see Michigan's team kind of coming back to life like we saw 5 years ago.
Yeah, and today more than ever, it's easier to rebuild a team. You can really replace your entire starting lineup in a year if you get a couple quality transfers. I think the sound's a little messed up right now. We apologize, but yeah, as Noelle, as you said, you can really rebuild your entire team. Michigan did that. They have 2 starters from the transfer portal, and they're replacing an All-American in the transfer portal. So there's a lot of reshuffling, and we can credit a lot of it. We can look at our football program. Jim Harbaugh really was the advocate for these players transferring. Whether you think that's good for the sport or bad for the sport, that's your call. Me personally, I'm not a huge fan. I like seeing the consistency in the players and the teams, but from a player perspective, if you commit somewhere and you're promised one thing and you don't get playing time, or your coach leaves, it's amazing. So it really depends what side you're looking from.
It all kind of depends on which team you play for. You have the fan side that really love the consistency and watching a team grow together. Whereas if you're a player on the court, you really want to have that playing time and that experience in order to say that you contributed to this team. You didn't just ride the bench all season. But coming from fan standpoint, it's more like, well, I want to see 4 guys go throughout the season and really build together. But without that consistency, it's kind of hard to find that team dynamic that we love to see, especially at a school like Michigan, where our pride is so high. From students to players to fans, our pride as Michigan Wolverines are so high, and we just love to see the way the team kind of contributes that onto the court, as well as outside.
Yeah, but even at Michigan, we've dipped into the transfer portal numerous times.
Oh, 100%.
100%. But, yeah, it hurt. It hurt when Dickinson left because, he was such a big Michigan man. He would talk trash online in real life in the postgame. And, yeah, that hurt. You kind of feel like these players are one of your own, and that's the shame of it nowadays. At a drop of a hat, you could just say, pack your bags up and leave. And
yeah, it was about time for Dickinson to leave, in my opinion. But we have 10 seconds left until the start of the second half. To recap, Michigan leads 48-32 right at the start. We're about to inbound the ball. Teams are coming back on the court. We're excited for a very exciting second half. We're going to see if UNC can come back against the Wolverines. Starting lineup for the second half, we have on Michigan, Doug McDaniel, a guard, Nimari Burnett, Terrace Williams, Oliva Kamwa, Terrace Reed, McCullen coming in as well. Terrace Reed. For UNC Asheville, we have Burgess, Banks, Pember, Abbey, and McMullen coming in as well. Whistle blown. Ball is inbounded to 0. McDaniel. Passed over the side. Ball brought up by number 5, Williams. Pass over to the side, back to McDaniel. Looking for something. Pass inside to Oliver Kamwa. Pass outside, shot goes up. Shot sunk by Doug McDaniel. Asheville brings it fast up the court to number 5, Fletcher Abbey. Burgess at the top. Pass to number 4, Pember, looking for action. Swung to the top again.
Wow.
Overturned by number 4 on Michigan, Burnett.
Burnett and 1.
And it goes up for an and 1 for Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, as we can see, as it relates to our discussion during halftime, Burnett, transfer from Alabama, contributing big early in this game with the and 1 here. Great play.
Number 4, Nimari Burnett taking the shot at the free throw line. Sets up the shots good. That puts Michigan at 54-32. Caleb Burgess takes the ball over half court, looking for action. Pass to the top of the key to number 4, Pember. Looking for something. Fighting with Michigan's defense in the corner. Ball gets picked up. Pass to the top, pass to the corner. Shot goes up by number 3, Josh Banks, and it's sunk.
Banks.
Inbounded to McDaniel. He's hesitating a little bit, looking for some action. Pass number 4, Burnett. Pass to the corner, number 13 to Kamwa. Swung around to the opposite side. He's hesitating, looking for action. Tried to pass inside to Terrace Reed, got kicked off his foot.
Yeah, Michigan retains possession there. A little kickball violation on UNC Asheville.
Michigan's really trying to move the ball a little bit more than they did in the first half, but we're going to have to see the guys kind of connect together, make that eye contact, make that connection between each other in order to make these plays happen.
Sure. I mean, whatever they were doing in the first half, let's just keep doing it. Okay?
Exactly. You are so right.
Don't change a thing.
All right.
Ooh.
The ball was inbounded to number 13, Kamwa, but then it seems like he stepped out of bounds, got pushed maybe, and
wow, that's so, you know, I hate to say it because I want to keep our listeners, but the game's over. Pember, their star player, 4th foul.
Oh, man.
1.5 minutes into the second half. They really have no source of offense now. That's their focal point. So we anticipated they were going to attack him, and they did, and, he's out.
Ball was inbounded by Doug McDaniel, pass to number 4, Burnett, for a shot fake, pass back to number 0. Shot goes up by number 5, missed, recovered by McMullen on Asheville's defense. Number 2, Asheville drives in. He misses the shot, recovered by Terrace Reed, number 32. For a fast break, number 0. Kind of slowed down by number 5 on Asheville. And shot goes up by McDaniel, and it's good. Burgess at the top of the, right about half court, in the middle of the M, looking for some action, waiting for his players to move around. Doesn't find anything, still hesitating, drives to the basket, pops it outside of number 3. Shot goes up by Josh Banks, and it goes in.
Yeah, transfer from VCU there. He's really a good source of offense so far for Asheville. That's his 10th point. Michigan 56, UNC Asheville 38. We apologize, no score on the YouTube stream.
Yeah, it seems like number 4, Burnett, was looking for action, looking for Terrace Reed at the top of the key, but then there was a foul on UNC Asheville. I believe number 12. Number 13, McMullen, I believe, for Asheville. Ball gets inbounded again by Michigan. It's at the top of the key. Number 4, Burnett. Pass to 0. He drives in. McDaniel tried to make the layup, didn't go in. It was once again picked up by 32 for the tip.
I'm pretty sure they gave that bucket to McDaniel there.
Okay.
I guess Terrace Reed didn't touch it. But yeah, 20-point lead for Michigan. Really, a couple more points in this game is blown out of the water. Can start getting the players that usually don't get a lot of playing time, get some reps, some practice for the rest of the season.
UNC brought it down for a shot. Missed the shot, recovered by Terrace Reed. Now again, and Michigan went up for the dunk for number 13, Nick McMullen, for the fast break to be recovered again by number 13 to be dunked on the opposite side of the court for UNC Asheville. But Kamoa at the top of the, right at the block M. Number 5 takes it in for the drive. Seems like there's a foul on the layup.
Yeah, T-Will with a good layup attempt, fouled on the play. And this is a guy, he gets a lot of heat from the fan base. He gets a lot of criticism. But he's having a very quality game today. 4 for 6, 2 for 3 from 3, and 10 points. Looking to add 2 more here on the free throws.
Yeah, for sure. We have now number 5, Terrace Williams, at the free throw line setting up.
Yeah, and this is a guy that really I want to root for because I know he's a big, tries hard. He's a good guy. He's a good player. He had a pretty good sophomore year, contributed a lot from the bench, and then he was put into a starting role last year. And really, to be honest, he couldn't handle it. He didn't do good, and, he got a lot of criticism from the fan base. Some of it deserved, some of it a little harsh.
I think he took his criticism well, though, because now he serves as team captain for the team. So he seems to fix a couple tweaks, and now he's leading the team at the top.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great guy. You hope he can take it in stride and really use the fuel this year.
See, Michigan just played.
And this is UNC Asheville's 5th foul already in the second half, and Michigan's doing a good job at attacking, but this is something that I really have a gripe with in college. I feel like the refs are constantly calling fouls. I believe we had 20-some in the first half, which is over 1 a minute. So it's a pet peeve of mine. It just makes the game go slower. It's very tedious, and I just like watching them play.
It almost feels like the NBA where they're calling fouls just to prevent their players from getting hurt,
It's even worse than the NBA, believe it or not, but yeah.
All right, shot goes up by number 5. Terrace Williams goes in. Ball quickly inbounded by number 14 on UNC Asheville to number 12. Johnson, he looks for some plays at the top. Ball's moving quickly around the top of the key. Tried to drive in quickly, didn't find anything. Number 14, Solomon, comes up, sets the pick. Williams gets caught in the pick again, playing tight man defense. Number 1 comes in for the missed dunk attempt. Block shot by Terrace Reed.
That's embarrassing. It's always embarrassing when you go for a dunk and just get stuffed.
Oh, yeah. All right, now we have McDaniel looking for a drive. Quickly pass to number 32, Terrace Reed, at the free throw line. Terrace Reed looks to make a little pump fake, little post move, and he sets it right up and gets right in there for a score of 64 to 40.
This is the big advantage that these power teams can take when they're playing the small out-of-conference opponents. Michigan has the size, has the physicality, has the athleticism, and if you just force it inside to our big guys, they can't defend it without fouling, and that's what's happening right now.
Ball's on Michigan's side of the court, went up by number 13.
Good rebound.
Oliver Twad didn't go in. Shot went up by number 5, Terrace Williams, for a three-pointer, putting the score at 67 to 40.
67 points, 5 minutes in the second half. Wow, foul on Michigan there on the inside.
Yeah, foul on number 4.
Burnett. And it's the under 16 timeout. What do you think of what's happened so far?
I think Michigan is just taking a second to play the game. We see the Bulldogs kind of rushing, trying to make that fast break at the end, trying to break Michigan's defense because they have such large guys on their, in the post to where they can't really find a way around them. There's no way you're going to get over Terrace Reed, who is 6'10" and twice your size, as these guys who are coming down the court as point guards. So I think they're just using their speed to their advantage, but they have to have their buckets fall in order for that to happen. So.
Oh, for sure. But, regardless of buckets, they're not playing, awful offensively. They're shooting, 41% from the field, 41% from 3, which are totally reasonable numbers. But whenever you let your opponent shoot 63% and 54% from 3, which is insane in a college game, you're never going to win.
No.
You could be playing, this could be Duke, and Duke would never win a game letting the opponent put up 67 points with 15 minutes to go. So it's a really good game for Michigan. The shooting especially, that's impressive because, as we touched on earlier, you can be super physical and you can be bigger and just dominate on the post. But the fact that Michigan can also facilitate it outside and are making all these open shots is just speaks to the ability of this team.
Yeah, I totally agree. It says something when your two forwards are both 6'10", and the tallest guy on UNC Asheville is about 5 inches lower than that. It kind of creates that deficit to where it's kind of difficult to come around that. There's really no way around finding that movement within the post that a lot of teams specialize around.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, UNC Asheville, that is their specialty. It's kind of, they have a Porzingis, Jokic type of center who can, take it in the key. He's 6'11", he's a tall guy, big guy, physical, and he can take it in the key, and he can also make it outside. And if you neutralize that, I've said this ad nauseum, but it's really the story of the game. You've neutralized their entire team.
Yeah, we're getting ready now for number 14 on UNC Asheville, Solomon, to shoot his free throws.
Solomon is getting significant playing time.
Oh, yeah.
In this game.
Surprisingly, he only has 4 points at the moment, but I think a lot has to do with he's a very much defensive inside player, so it comes with the position.
Yeah, and this is quite a step up in competition for him. He came from a community college. He's a junior, so
good for him.
His first 2 seasons on a local North Carolina community college. Asheville liked what they saw, and they offered him a scholarship.
Missed free throw by number 14, Solomon, for UNC Asheville. Recovered by Michigan. And now they're at the block M looking for some movement. Number 4, Burnett. Pass to number 32, Terrace Reed, for some movement. Back to McDaniel. Staying on the outside, looking for penetration. Shot goes up on the three-point line by McDaniel. It's missed. And UNC gains possession. I like Terrace Reed the way that he's a big man, but he kind of plays on the outside. If you look at the way that he works, he always catches the ball no lower than the free throw line. And he kind of makes his move around there and then finds a way to get around his opponent and use his body to get down to the post.
Yeah, it's very interesting because he doesn't really shoot three-pointers. He doesn't really shoot mid-range. He only goes inside. But the way the spacing is, they like to have him kind of, as you said, outside of the paint so he can pass to the perimeter. So it's very interesting. I believe it's Phil Martelli coaching, and I think that is his directions for the players. Phil Martelli, long-time St. John's coach, so a lot of experience here. Michigan's in good hands without Juwan Howard the first few games.
Yeah, I totally agree. We're going to see how he does for the rest of the season. UNC Asheville at the top of the Michigan M, almost turned over. Number 2 looking to make a play. Kind of swung around, now down.
And Pember's back in.
To number 4, Pember. There was a foul on Pember in the post.
Now foul on Terrace Reed.
On Terrace Reed.
Oh, Trey Jackson. Trey Jackson transferred from Seton Hall. It's when I saw you transferred, it was very interesting to me because even at Seton Hall, he didn't get much playing time, but he's known as a stretch big, which is something Michigan needed. So even though he didn't really play a significant role at a lesser school, there's a place for him at Michigan, and as we can see here, he's getting some significant minutes, and I think he'll be a pretty key piece of the rotation throughout the season.
Ball inbounded to McDaniel. He's coming up the court. Pressured hard by number 12 on Asheville, Johnson. Pass up to number 2, Jackson. Looking for movement. Pass inside to number 13. Dunked by Kamwa. Right over the UNC big man. UNC tried to pass it down low to Solomon for the dunk, but he got number 5 on Michigan's defense, Terrace Williams, got right in his face, causing a foul.
There are 4 fouls already for Michigan, 5 fouls for Asheville. We're only 6.5 minutes into the second half here.
You know, now that you bring it to my attention, or the attention to our listeners,
yeah.
the amount of fouls that we're watching, oh my goodness. That was a free throw missed on the line by Solomon.
Cheddar checks in for Michigan. Another stretch wing. Didn't play much last year, but this year he's a sophomore, and I think he's going to get pretty significant playing time. He's the 6th man right now on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone gets hurt, he's the next man up in that starting 5.
Bucket goes in. Ball's waiting to be inbounded by number 5. Inbounded to number 13 on Michigan, Kamwa. McDaniel takes it down the court. Looking for some movement. Kind of flip-flopping at the top of the top of the key. Shot goes up by number 13. Shot goes in by Kamwa again. We've seen a lot of electricity from Kamwa today. He's really stepping up and taking and really solidifying himself on this court against Asheville.
Yeah, awful fast break by UNC Asheville. They try to catch Michigan off guard and just toss it out of bounds. They're just trying to do something here. The gap is up to 27 points. The game's over, but I know a lot of you maybe on YouTube. There's a couple important numbers that might be hit soon, so we can look forward to that.
Number 13, Kamwa again goes up for the dunk as Michigan kind of gracefully brought down the court.
Whoa.
Almost identically matched by Pember for the reciprocal dunk, but
Pember
seemed to miss that.
by the rim. Yeah, just tossed it
Absolutely
against the heel.
denied. He kind of left that so defeated. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and this game was really supposed to be closer. It was only a 10-point line in favor of Michigan. UNC Asheville coming off an NCAA tournament berth. They were the 15th seed last year. Big South champions, and it just hasn't clicked for them today.
No. I was kind of excited to see the smaller division team play our Michigan Wolverines, but it's still a great game regardless. Both teams are putting in intensity and effort, which is nice to see as the season opener.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great game for us Michigan fans, but if you're UNC Asheville, kind of hoping your team is one of those elite mid-majors this year, I don't see it.
All right, now we have Pember back at the top of the key, looking for some movement past to number 12 for the shot. Recovered by number 13. And shot goes in for McMullen on UNC Asheville. Oh, we're going to see number 12 trying to get a foul on the inbound for Asheville. Coming over half court, McDaniel passing it to the top to number 42. Cheddar for the dunk again by Kamua. He is just not letting UNC have it tonight.
No, he is. He's letting UNC have it all tonight. Wow, great performance from Olivier. He's Finnish. Just like the team guide. It's not Oliver, it's Olivier Nakamura. But wow, great start to the second half for Michigan. 75 to 46. You can't ask for anything better.
It's funny to see Pember come down the court, considering every time Kamua goes up for a dunk, Pember he takes it personal, and he comes down and he's like, I'm going to dunk and do the exact same thing that this guy did. It goes in about 33.3% of the time, I want to say, in the last 5 minutes that we just watched this back and forth happen.
Yeah. I feel awful for Pember. I'm a little bit of a sicko. I did watch a couple UNC Asheville games last year, and he really is a good player, but he has a lot of fouls. He doesn't want to take a charge.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to get a foul on the defensive end. That's why our forwards are doing particularly well tonight. And, it's just a losing recipe there. But
I can't say that I don't love an aggressive player. Like, I think it just makes the game that much more interesting.
Yeah.
But it comes to a point where you have to realize that your intensity could be harming your team, especially if you're the leading scorer and you already have 4 fouls.
And that's the shame with these, how they've been calling it tonight. It's a lot of ticky-tack fouls. You know, if you try and go for a steal, they're going to call you. If you graze someone on defense, they're going to call you. And that's why Michigan has 75 points already, and we're not even halfway through the second half. They're on pace for 100, which, you know, maybe doesn't sound like a lot to most people, but for college,
it's a large
for college,
number.
it's a big number.
Now we have, once again, season opener, Mr. Brightside, in the middle of the second half. We see, like, our student section is actually quite full today, more than I would have expected. But, I mean, it is the season opener. The rest of Crisler, not so much. But the energy that our students bring is something that I just love about Crisler and our Maze Rage.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed at our fan base tonight, but the students did show out. I wish we were more like Duke, where the student section was around the entire court, and not just the sideline, the Michigan sideline. You know, it's a shame because I think that, you know, our students, we love sports here at Michigan, and I think the environment could be so much better if they made that happen. And, you know, this year might not be the opportunity for it, but when this program was really heating up and the football program was down, they could have embraced it, and it's a shame they didn't. It really is.
You know, I will play devil's advocate and say that it's a Tuesday.
That's true.
Like
no, but that,
considering this is the crowd that we get on a Tuesday night in the middle of midterm season. I had a midterm today.
So did I.
Exactly, and we're both here, so that just proves my point.
It's what I'm saying. You got the student section full, but, you know, maybe the rest of the stadium is 40%.
It's a day in the work week, you know.
Yeah.
All right, now we see Pember setting up on the free throw line. Made his first one, sinks his second. Number 13 Kamua on Michigan, inbounded it to McDaniel. Back to Kamua at the right side of the court. Picked it up, looking for action. McDaniel hesitating. Double teamed by Asheville. Pass to Stetzler at the top of the free throw line. Makes a little post move. Misses his shot attempt. Rebounded by Pember on UNC Asheville. Drives to the basket. Post move doesn't. Shot goes up. But on foul on number 42 Cheddar, excuse me.
Yeah, Cheddar's a talented player, but the one gripe that people did have was his defense last year was not ideal. You know, I'm just by the looks of him, it looks like he put on some weight, some muscle. He was very lanky last year, got bullied a lot on the post, especially if you're going to be a power forward. You can't let that happen.
Shot sunk by Pember on UNC Asheville. UNC's pressing as they cross half court. Kamua looking for something at the top. Pass to number 2, Jackson. McDaniel holds it. Number 12, hands kind of go into his possession and push the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, poked out by Evan Johnson. He's a transfer from Georgia State. So, you know, looking for a change of scenery here. He did get good playing time at Georgia State. Just, you know, decided to do a grad transfer to UNC Asheville. Ooh. Moving pick on Michigan, UNC Asheville. Wow.
That brought number 12 on UNC
Of
Asheville
the devil,
Johnson to his feet, or to his back on the middle of the court.
Yeah, quite the opposite. Yeah, it took a big fall. He's a little shaken up. And it looks like they could be giving Michigan a flagrant here. They're reviewing the play.
Personal foul.
Yeah. Yeah, 12 does genuinely look shaken up. I don't think he was he was playing it up for the refs. So we might have a flagrant here at Michigan. You know, luckily it's not close enough to really impact the game. But
at this point, I don't think it's going to impact the game.
No.
But I think UNC has a chance to at least close the deficit a little bit.
Close the deficit.
I think that's all they got.
Yeah.
Just to close it, make it a little bit more respectful. I mean,
Exactly.
25 points isn't a blowout. It's just I think they still scored 50 points on Michigan's defense.
They let up 75, but well, the key, I guess the key number here for our listeners would be 11 points for
11.
reasons,
Mm-hmm.
but that is the number that UNC Asheville fans are looking for today.
Now we have Jackson taking it up the court. Shot goes up, blocked by number 13 on Asheville. McMullen taken down the court by number 2.
Ooh.
4, Pember was looking to drive, got kind of bodied by number 13 on Michigan, Kamua.
Yeah, there's already 14 fouls here, 9 minutes in the second half. It's just
We
It's
still
just
have
let
a
them
whole
play.
other 10
Yeah.
minutes to go.
let them play. It's really, this entire game is just free throws. It's very just tiring.
Pember shot goes up. Shot made. Putting them at 51. And 51 to 75. Gosh, this score is going up so slow. Pember misses the second one, recovered by number 2 on Michigan's defense, Jackson. Quickly taken up the court by McDaniel.
And that was Pember's 8th free throw. He's barely played this game, but really that just shows the impact he has. Every time he gets the ball, he's getting double teamed, and he's getting fouled a lot.
Seems to be a foul on the previous play. It was a foul on number 10, David Cunningham on UNC Asheville. Personal foul on number 2. Trey Jackson.
Yeah, and it looks like Santa Ono was sitting 2 boxes ahead of us. He left. He has left the game. Unfortunately, he denied my request for a little halftime interview, but he has more important things to attend to. Santa standing up for the football team. We appreciate him.
Yeah, it would have been neat to hear his perspective on Michigan basketball at halftime.
Michigan basketball. I would have, credit to him. He's a very smart guy. I would have tried to sneak in a couple football questions.
Oh, yeah.
But he's smart. He doesn't want to talk.
No. Ball rushed up the court by number 10 on UNC Asheville, Cunningham. Shot goes up by Pember for the three-pointer.
Man, if only they had him for the majority of that first half.
I know.
If only. Would have made our jobs a little more interesting.
Oh, yeah. Kamwa takes it, passes it to the corner.
McDaniel.
Pass across court to McDaniel. Shot goes up for a three-pointer by McDaniel. Number 2, Jackson rushes it up the court. Burgess rushed it up the court for a shot attempt. Didn't go in. Recovered by Kamwa. Pass to McDaniel in the corner. Shot goes up again by McDaniel. Doesn't seem to fall.
Yeah, a little bit of a heat check.
Oh, yeah.
McDaniel right there. Kind of took a fadeaway 3.
Shot went up by number 5 on UNC Asheville. Abbey went in. Michigan sets up underneath under UNC's basket. Under Michigan's basket. Taken slowly past half court, McDaniel. UNC seems to be playing a 1-2-2 defense. McDaniel tries to break the defense. Shot goes up, doesn't fall.
Fletcher. He's been playing good. He just checked in. He hit a nice shot and a good steal there.
Pember tried to go in with the little move under the basket. Didn't seem to fall, but then he grabbed it back, tipped it in. And that's 2 more points for UNC Asheville.
Yeah, Pember already at 16 points. UNC Asheville's point leader this game.
Shetler passed it in to number 13. Kamwa passed it back out to McDaniel for the shot. Didn't go in. Recovered by UNC's defense to the top of UNC's offense with number 4, Pember. Bringing it in for the shot attempt. Doesn't fall. Recovered by Michigan's defense.
Yeah, and that last 3 by Michigan was not McDaniel. It was actually George Washington.
Oh.
You guys heard that right. George Washington.
George Washington III.
Yeah. Freshman for Michigan.
There's a shot that just went up by number 13, Kamwa again. And now we see it back on UNC's offense. Pember tried to hand it off to number 10, Cunningham. It didn't seem to work as Cunningham stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, and it's the under 8 timeout right now. Michigan 82, UNC Asheville 59. And, the margins kind of stay the same as it has been these past few minutes, but Michigan's taking the gas off. Hopefully, the game's well in hand. I'd like to see some of the players, some of the freshmen that wouldn't otherwise get the playing time. I want to see how they look. And this is a great opportunity to do it if you're Michigan.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like – if you look at UNC stats, they're not doing horrible. Michigan has 7 turnovers, but UNC Asheville only has 12. There is a saying that turnovers and missed free throws do lose games. That's inevitable. If you have more, you're most likely going to lose a game. But the difference between the two isn't as large as I would expect from this large of a difference in score.
No, but I think the real difference lies in those free throws. As we mentioned, the refs being very liberal with the foul calling, and Michigan already Michigan 9 free throw attempts. UNC Asheville, this is surprising. I was not expecting this. UNC Asheville 24 free throw attempts.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, that's very surprising to me. You'd think Michigan would have 24, Nashville would have 9, but
the thing about all these free throws, like you were saying before, Jake, is it stops the momentum of the game. So these guys go for a minute, stop. Go for 2 more minutes and stop.
Oh, 2 minutes? Oh, they'd love to go for 2 minutes.
They would love to go for 2 minutes. It's so, it has to be, I wouldn't say physically exhausting because they're getting a break during the game, but it has to be so, mentally draining just to stop and restart, stop and restart. Instead of letting the game flow, letting it speed up, maybe allowing UNC Asheville to come back a little bit, to gain that momentum that they needed again. But
yep,
refs play a huge part in games as much as deniers like to
shut
that down.
And that's why a lot of people really don't tune in or don't really pay attention to these early season college basketball. People like it when it gets to March and the refs kind of let them play. And it's a little more free throwing, a lot more defense. And that's really the appeal of college basketball as you get to the tournament season.
It feels like with the speed of this game, it kind of feels like I'm watching women's basketball. And that's not a knock to women's basketball at all. I love women's basketball. I go to as many as I can. But it feels so much slower because women play at kind of a slower pace than men do.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. Women tend to play more fundamentally. They tend to run more plays, use more of their players. And that's what I feel like Michigan is kind of playing. They're playing like the women's team. Hot take maybe, but that's just my opinion.
If playing like the women's team means you lead by 23,
then we'll take it.
Yeah,
right?
then I guess it's a compliment. But
all right, we had number 4 on Michigan, Burnett, looking for a little bit of movement on the top, tried to pass it into the top of the key to number 32, Terrace Reed.
Offensive foul on Cheddar.
Yeah, it didn't really seem to make anything happen with that offensive foul. So now we have Pember on the sideline passing it in. Kind of a slow entrance for UNC with number 2, Burgess taking it in. Michigan playing large zone defense, pass it back out to number 10 on UNC. Pember at the top of the key for the 3-pointer, and it's sunk. That was very impressive from how far he was out from the 3-point line.
Oh, yeah. Wow, and that's a big number, 144, the game total. So the game closed 143.5. Not a lot of sweat for those who took the over there.
Number 4, pass it into Terrace Reed. Doesn't seem to make any movement. Pass it back out to number 42, Cheddar. The shot goes up at the 3-point line for Cheddar. It sinks right in. Number 2 on UNC Asheville, Burgess takes it at the top of the key right at the block M. Pass inside to be kicked back out for the shot attempt by number 5, Abby. Doesn't seem to fall. It's recovered by Michigan's defense as they bring it back up the court. Number 4 takes a long-range 3-pointer.
Yeah, Burnett.
Burnett
UNC
throws it
Asheville
up.
in his face. I'm shocked he made that. That was heavily contested from 3. If he missed it, coach would have yelled at him for sure. But you can't say much there. Great shot.
That was great movement by UNC Asheville. Passed up to Pember. Pember shot fakes it, throws it down to the cutting forward number 14, Solomon, who drops it right in, contested by, I want to say, was that Terrence Reed or was that?
That was Trey Jackson.
That's Trey Jackson.
Yeah. But 5 minutes left, 24-point lead. Why are these guys playing? Why are you playing the starters? It just makes no sense to me.
Number 4 on Michigan, Burnett, bringing it up the court, pressed heavily by UNC's defense. Terrace Reed at the top of the key, looking for something. Kind of pass it, hand off to number 4, Burnett, but then there seems to be a personal foul on number 1, Battle, for UNC Asheville.
At the line shooting the 1-1 for the Wolverines, number 4, Noelle Bencie.
Yeah, Burnett again coming off that great made 3, contested 3. He has 2 free throws here. But what a name on UNC Asheville. Doc Battle. What a cool name.
Got a lot of interesting names today. Followed by George Washington III.
Yeah, Georgia, you're going to be hearing a lot of that name in the coming years, hopefully.
All right, number 4 again on Michigan. Burnett sets up on the line for a second attempt. Shot goes up. Shot's good. Inbounded by Pember on UNC Asheville. Taken up the court by his teammate Burgess. Looking for movement. Pass across the court to number 3, Banks. Pass back. Holding it a little bit. Looking for some movement. Seems to be a 2-man game going between the two. Shot goes up on the 3-point line by Banks, and it sunk.
The VCU transfer here, Josh Banks. He's had a pretty good game. 16 points, 4 for 6 from 3.
That was a long-range shot by number 4, Burnett, on Michigan's team. Doesn't go in. Recovered by Michigan's defense as they bring it up the court. Pass to Pember at the top of the key. Tried for a long-range 3-point line. Didn't really happen. Rebounded by number 1, Battle. Sent back out, looking for some movement at the top by the free throw line. A little bit of play calling. Michigan set up in a man-to-man defense. They seem to find a gap. They found a gap in their defense, and he cut through right to the block and put it right in the basket. Burnett comes back up the court, passes it to Cheddar. Kind of swinging it around. Looking for his man Cheddar at the post. Looking for a ball move. Up and under.
Ooh.
That was missed and then
Good
tipped back
putback
in by Terrace Reed. All right, we got a score of 92-69 now. Asheville looks for some movement right at the block M. Seems to be telling his teammates to move around, get some movement so they can pass his ball around. Pember throws up another one from the 3-point line, and he misses, recovered by Michigan's defense as they take it up the court by number 4, Burnett. Contested a little bit. Pass to Terrace Reed at the post.
Oh, you got to take that. Ugh. Yeah, Terrace Reed with a, our NBA fans will get this reference with a Ben Simmons-esque. He had a wide open layup right there, wide open dunk, and try to dish it out. And, it's a turnover on Michigan. We're at the under 4 timeout. And I'm really looking forward to next week. Michigan's going to New York City. They're taking on St. John's. Rick Pitino is back. That's really going to be Michigan's first test of the year.
I think seeing them finally with all their guys healthy, it's going to be a true testament on how they actually are going to play for the rest of the season.
Oh yeah, no. Mostly, I'm more excited to see St. John's and Pitino than I am this Michigan team. But it should be a very exciting game. As we know, there's a lot of bad blood between Michigan and Pitino. That 2013 championship technically was not won by Louisville in the year 2023, but should have been won by Michigan. That's all I'll say.
Well, I want to say you're a little bit biased on that one, but
Yeah,
if you want to give us some history on why, tell our listeners why you believe that. Giving you a little DSR moment.
Yeah.
Let you
a
rant a little bit.
Well,
enlighten us, please.
You know, it was vacated a couple years later for Louisville. So really, Michigan was the highest finisher that year, but there's no banner up here, which hurts. It really does. A lot of questionable calls that game. But what a team, man. Stauskas, Albrecht, Hardaway Jr. I miss that. No comment? Yeah, long-time Michigan fan.
I don't believe my Michigan fan base has extended that far. Personally, growing up, I was a State fan. Don't hate me for that.
Don't say that.
Don't hate me for that.
Say that.
Don't hate me for that.
Michigan State, you know what? Let's talk about it. Michigan State, brutal loss yesterday. James Madison coming into their home court and beating them in overtime. Very embarrassing for a team that was supposedly a top 5 team coming into the year. You know, any thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm kind of biased for Michigan State's basketball team just because my grandpa played in the 1956 Final Four team.
Wow.
So I kind of grew up having to be a Michigan State fan, you know?
Yeah.
But coming here, I kind of swayed my family a little bit. You know,
yeah.
Gotta love our maize and blue out here.
Yeah, brutal couple years for Michigan State there.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about that. All right, ball's inbounded to Michigan. Pass into number 40 on Michigan. So George Washington again. Shot goes up. Recovered again by UNC. Brought back down the court by number 13. Tried to put some shots up by Nick McMillan. Didn't really go in. It was contested for, I believe, a personal foul on Burnett.
Yeah, and checked in for Michigan, Yusuf Yo-Yo Kayat from Lebanon. So he played in the league over there in Europe, committed here to Michigan. Didn't play much his freshman year, but he has a lot of support in the stands. I count 2 Lebanon flags here in Crisler Arena.
We really have a very international team. Like, we have a lot of, we got our player
Nakamura
from Finland.
Yep.
That was a shot on the free throw line by number 13, McMullen.
Yeah, Michigan has had a lot of success with these international players. We had the Wagner twins, who from Germany, both playing at Orlando Magic right now.
Right. I'm a Magic fan. Got my boy Mo over there.
Yeah, Mo. What a player when he was at Michigan. But, I mean, that's something that, not a lot of colleges kind of pursue those European youngsters, which, we've had success with them. I guess we have with Yo-Yo here, but I wish we really pursued that harder. It would be kind of a different, advantage for Michigan.
That was a shot on the free throw line by Terrace Reed Jr. Shot went in. Michigan's in the bonus. So he goes up for a second one right now. Shot goes up. Missed by Terrace Reed, recovered by UNC's defense. With a fast break down the court. Pass to number 15 on UNC, doesn't go in. Recovered again by Terrace Reed as he passes it to Shetter as he tries to make a play. Kind of answering back that fast defense. Shot went up in the corner by number 34, Salvo. Kind of fighting under the basket. And Terrace Reed seemed to fight between, I want to say, 3 or 4 guys to get it into the basket.
And Michigan now has kind of started playing their walk-ons here. You have Cooper Smith playing junior from Saline. You have Selvala from Massachusetts, a 5th year. If you haven't heard those names before, yeah, they're walk-ons. But we're up big late. Might as well give them some minutes.
Yeah. We see the ball with number 12 on UNC Asheville. Tried to pass it to
Cooper Smith, good steal.
Tried to pass it to McMullen, but then it was turned over. We see Terrace Reed sitting down, which I'm kind of happy I got to see Terrace Reed play, considering he was questionable at the start of this game. So
Yeah, no, it's good that he's healthy, getting reps. As we said earlier, we need him for the game next week, our first test against St. John's. So good to see him playing well. He's moving well.
Yep.
Yeah.
As we go through, I believe, our final media timeout. 2-minute warning. 95-70 for our Michigan Wolverines, leading with Michigan's in the bonus. We've definitely seen them in the bonus. It's not hard to miss. So, as this game kind of wraps up, Jake, what do you think are the key takeaways from what we've seen from both teams, their strengths, their weaknesses, the way that they kind of mesh well together? How do you think the two teams correlated in a way that we haven't really seen other teams do?
I mean, the takeaway here has to be the offense. Anytime, they're going to score 100 here. Anytime you score 100, regardless of the opponent, it's tremendous. And additionally, you have a coach, Martelli, here, and, he's very experienced, drew up a good game plan, attacked Pember on Asheville right away, took him out of the game. And really the second half, it's only been Michigan has not dominated the second half. It's been fairly close. And the big run was made when Pember was out, so I think that's a brilliant strategy. It's simple, but not a lot of teams do it. It's very simple. Took the star out of the game, and you get to go on this big run.
No, I think that's one of the most important things that you have to do when you're looking at a team that is so solely dependent on one player.
Yeah.
It's finding a way to lock them out of the game, to rack up their fouls, and get them out of the game. Like, it's inevitable. In order to win this game, you have to shut them down because they don't have the backups to step up into his position. They're a very one-man, one leader, playmaker.
Yeah, and credit to Michigan. UNC Asheville actually returned, I believe, 4 out of 5 of their starters and a lot of their bench. So they have a lot of returning players from a conference champion NCAA tournament team from last year. And as we saw with Michigan State, you can't take these games for granted. Winning by 25 is, it's nice. I wanted a little closer selfishly for the broadcast, but it's a very satisfying game for Michigan fans.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All right, we have our team setting back up in the last 2 minutes of the game. Ball is inbounded. Number 40, George Washington, looking for some movement. Pass up to number 34, Salvala. Driven in by George Washington III, kicked out. Doesn't seem to be recovered. Pushed out. Seemed to be a missed pass on the other side of the court for George Washington.
A freshman checking in for his first minutes ever, Harrison Hochberg from New York. He's a preferred walk-on freshman, so really he's not going to see playing time that much this year or probably in his career, so it's good to see Harrison getting some minutes tonight.
We had...
Big foul.
Yeah, we had Kayat going up for a dunk. It seems he was significantly interrupted in his dunk by number 1 on UNC Asheville's defense. He's now on the line. Shot goes up. He sinks the first one.
His second free throw here for Yo-Yo.
Shot goes up. Makes 2 out of 2. We see UNC Asheville coming down the court with still their starters in the game, as Michigan puts in their bench.
A couple of them. Trent Stephanie just checked in for UNC, 5th year, walk on from Tennessee.
We still have Cunningham and McMullen.
Yeah, and Battle there. Doc
and Battle coming in. We see Michigan's offense trying to make some moves. A little bit more slower play. Almost turned over by number 14 on Michigan. Burns. Shot goes up.
Ooh.
It was contested. Shot goes in.
What a circus layup for Burns.
Number 10 on UNC Asheville takes a drive. Shot goes up. He misses it. Recovered. A little bit of a battle. Battle on the court was recovered by 31 on Michigan Wolverines.
You know what? I hope Michigan tries to score on this possession. I really want to see those triple digits.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if Martelli's going to give him the green light, but he should.
There's a little bit of a battle underneath the basket between possessions. Ball was flipped between Michigan's postman and their guard coming down trying to steal from each other, but eventually the foul came through on University of Michigan number 14. Number 10 on the line, Cunningham, sends up the first one. Doesn't seem to have what it takes to make it fall.
Taking it for the Bulldogs, 24, Corey Jones, and 25, Rasheed Baldwin.
See a little bit more of UNC's second team coming in.
Yeah, they've officially pulled their starters. It took them a minute.
Yeah.
34 seconds left in the game. This isn't going to do much for these bench guys, but it's probably cool for them to play in such a big stadium like Crisler Arena, Crisler Center.
Where we have number 50.
They're dribbling it out.
45 on Smith. Dribbling out the ball, holding it. At 99 points in the bonus. Michigan's coaching staff doesn't seem to be wanting to put it in for that final point.
And they took the shot clock violation there, but you can't complain much. 99-74 is going to be your final score. Michigan wins by 25 points. You know, it's a great performance, very relaxing to watch if you're a fan.
It's always nice to see. Before I finish that comment, Michigan runs out the clock, and we have a final score of 99-74. It wasn't the most exciting games that we've had. The second half kind of dragged on just a little bit, but, you know, it was a nice performance to see the way Michigan kind of clicked together and the way that they kind of used all their players, especially the last 5 or 6 minutes. They started putting in their bench players, using a little bit more of their personnel, giving these guys, wetting their feet a little bit, getting these guys a chance to get on the court. So, Jake, your thoughts?
For sure. I mean, it's always, you know, it's nice to win a game against an NCAA tournament team. You know, people really rated this Michigan team towards the bottom of the Big Ten this year, and I don't believe that's true, but I'm going to be very interested to watch their upcoming games. As we said, next week, St. John's, and then in a couple weeks, they're going to one of those tournaments. They're going to play Memphis. They're playing Oregon. So it's going to be very interesting. We'll really see the quality of this team in the upcoming few weeks.
Yeah. Just a little bit of a recap from tonight's game. Number 13, Kamua, had 25 points as the highest leading scorer of tonight's game with 7 rebounds, followed by McDaniel, number 0, who had 22 points and 2 rebounds and 8 assists. So kind of a very high scoring for these two guys. Terrace Reed actually had one of his highest scoring games tonight. His highest scoring game from last season was actually 9 points.
Was it really?
Yep. So tonight he kind of hit that break. He had 9 points tonight, which was, I'm sure he's patting himself on the back for that one. I'm sure he's excited considering he averages, I want to say, 3.6 points a game, considering his size and the amount that he plays.
Now he's in a starting role. You got to anticipate he's going to break into double digits soon, but I like him. I really like him.
We've seen a lot more from him, I think, this season than we have. Or at least, and it's only the first game. How can I say this season? We've seen a lot from him in this game and in the exhibition game than we have a lot from last season.
For sure. He's a great defender. He was stuck behind Dickinson here, but, you know, I see him not, you know, this is a big comparison here, but he's obviously not as good, but he's kind of a Ben Wallace type where he's going to get blocks, he's going to get steals, he might put up, you know, 8-9 points a game and really do the dirty work for this team, and every team needs a guy like that. So Terrace Reed playing a key role.
Just a recap before we sign off tonight for UNC Asheville statistics. Banks had 18 points, second leading high scorer behind Pember, number 4, who had 19 points tonight. The score finalizes tonight's game in Crisler Center with 99-74. It was a very wonderful night, very wonderful atmosphere for our very first game of the season. Jake, any last thoughts before we sign off?
Oh, go Blue. Let's keep it up.
Go Blue. Remember to log into our DSRs Monday through Thursday, 6 to 6:30 p.m. on WCBN FM Ann Arbor. Thank you so much for listening tonight. My name is Noelle Bencie. I followed alongside Jake Handler. Thank you again to Jonas Tomkin and Vihaan Easwar for a wonderful first half. It has been honestly a pleasure calling this game for you all. Good night, and go Blue.